Hi, I'm David Everts. I'm an elder here at Hope Presbyterian Church, and I have a three-part series on how astronomy connects us to God. So in this devotional, I'm suggesting that astronomy is a call to worship God. So in Genesis 1, you know that God arranges the function of what he's created in that account. And on day 4, God describes to us the purpose of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Of course, you would guess that he talks about establishing days and weeks and months, and we all get that. But what we might have missed is that it specifically talks about how God has marked out seasons and sacred times using celestial bodies. So as an example, you and I take every 7 days to worship God. That's maybe what we might call the Sabbath, and certainly we see that in the Genesis account. But the Old Testament people were taking different festivals during the year based on the seasons, like they had several in the fall to thank God for who he was and what he had provided, just like we do at Thanksgiving. That's a sacred time based on celestial movements. So the other interesting passage is Psalm 19, the first 2 verses. I'll just read those real quickly. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they reveal knowledge. So astronomy gives us a perspective of who God is. Now there's really 2 things that everybody should be able to know about God just by, looking up into the skies. The first is that he is powerful. I mean, when you look up at the heavens, you just know there's such power out there. And then also that whoever made that is divine. He's God. He's not a human being. He's God. And this is what Romans 1:20 talks about. That verse states that God's character has been clearly seen by what has been made, so people are without excuse. But it's so tragic to read the next verse, verse 21, that says that despite the creation, that we don't acknowledge who God is, and we refuse to be grateful to him for what he's provided. So that's shocking. It's insulting, right? Now, the passage I really want to talk about is Isaiah 40, 25 and 26. And God gives us a command. He says we are to lift up our eyes and to look to the heavens. We are to be awestruck by his great power and by his mighty strength. In that passage, it says that he has named every star. Not one is missing. Now, I took an online astronomy course this past winter from an astronomer at the University of Virginia, and he says they have not even begun to count and name the stars in the heavens. Very interesting. So I want to close with some ideas for you to begin to incorporate astronomy into your day-to-day life so that you can worship God too. Number 1, if you are physically unable to get out into the night sky, as some of you might be, then consider ordering 2 videos from Louis Giglio called Indescribable and Our God is Great. Each video is amazing as it explains the astronomical celestial bodies and how we can worship God as a result. Number 2, if you can physically get outside, you don't need binoculars, but you need just 2 eyeballs. And I challenge you, just count the stars. See if now you got to get away from that light pollution, but just go outside, count the stars, see if you can do that. And what my wife likes is I have put an app. It's just a couple bucks. It's called Star Walk 2. And all you do is turn on your camera and you just look up at the sky and move it around, and it tells you the stars you're looking at and the constellations. It's amazing. And then third, I'm getting a little more interested in astronomy, so I've done a lot of research, and everybody says start with binoculars. Telescopes are very expensive, but with some binoculars, you can see hundreds of stars that you couldn't normally see with your 2 eyeballs. Now here's the thing. I have thoroughly enjoyed this past winter looking at Orion. Orion is mentioned in the Bible 3 times, twice in Job and once in Amos. So God acknowledges that he put it there for us to observe. With the naked eye, it's only 8 bright stars, but when you go and look at Orion through binoculars, I mean, you want to drop to your knees and worship God. There are hundreds of stars just in that one region that will just blow you away. So, thank you for listening, and I just want to introduce you to the fact that as all astronomers say to each other when they depart, they say clear skies. Thanks.